Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Superstars of Wrestling review series. Got a few of these, about 3 or 4 more to add here today. Superstars of Wrestling, December 13th and 1986, which is only a couple of months after the program debuted here. Certainly, we open with Pedro Morales, Tito Santana, Hillbilly Jim defeating Moondog Spot, Barry O, and the Raider 157. Morales pins the Raider with a roll up. Morales, of course, former multi time champion, tag, intercontinental, and world champion at this point. Obviously, though, not exactly a guy that you're going to write home about during this time period, as he is on the downside of his career. Hillbilly Jim, new to the area, but not new to wrestling. Hillbilly Jim takes a good bit of the offense in the early going. Just punch kick, very basic stuff. Your baby faces are pretty impressive in a roll up by Mr. Morales. Gets the victory here, and again, 2 minute match. Still a pretty big deal for the time. 6 mans out of nowhere just don't make sense. Anyway, Macho Man Randy Savage is out here claiming responsibility for the, albeit almost, decapitation of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, crushing the larynx of his opponent and basically challenging him to come back into some semblance of being ready, able, or willing to challenge for the Intercontinental Championship if he can. We then move to more of a run with the, I guess, the good of things, for lack of a better term, with Adrian Adonis. Adrian Adonis, of course, running Roddy Piper, not out of town, but beating him up as it relates to the flower shop and all things associated with the flower shop at the time. Obviously, Piper not exactly wanting to be embarrassed, and this is obviously building to their confrontation at WrestleMania 3, the biggest of the bunch. And Adrian Adonis, managed by Jimmy Hart, Mario Mancini, is with the duties for Adonis. Adonis gets him with the sleeper, the Goodnight Irene 116. So short matches, and still a history in WWE at the time. Punch kick, basic stuff. The Goodnight Irene sleeper is something that Adonis, who's doing a bit of a feminine slash cross dressing gimmick at the time, seemed to be, interested in. Then we go to Rick Martel and Tom Zink against Jimmy Jack Funk and Iron Mike Sharp, 354. Martel pins Sharp with a slingshot splash into the ring. At this point, the Can-Am connection, Martel and Zink, planned to be, anyway, if you believe the lore of days of old, planned to be kind of a Rock and Roll Express type team, and for the most part, doesn't go according to plan. Randy Savage, though, talking about eventually facing Bruno Sammartino and all comers for the Intercontinental Champion in an upcoming series of house show matches. Of course, he's the Intercontinental Champion going into 1987, having defeated Tito Santana in February, on the 8th of February, from Boston Garden, 1986. Outback Jack promising to come and bring alligators and crocodiles and all sorts of fun things to the World Wrestling Federation. Zink and Martel are a good team, arm bars, arm ringers, and the like. Quick tags between the baby faces. Mike Sharp, though, cutting the ring off on his opponent, Jimmy Jack Funk, who, I don't know how he got stuck with the Funk gimmick, but it wasn't good for his career. Double up, good fire for the Can-Am connections and the slingshot by Martel. They are promoting a upcoming bunkhouse brawl type maneuver or match at the Boston Garden, and Blackjack Mulligan, who says they can bring just about any weapon they want in this local promo. Pretty big deal. Jack Reynolds is the announcer for that bit of fun. Then we move to another in the series of matches, as it were, and Kamala is our focal point for this next little run of wonder. Kamala, of course, coming in at around this time with the Wizard and Kimchi, pinning Jack Kruger in 38 seconds. With a splash off the top rope, Kruger is taken backstage on a stretcher post match, getting ready for the battles between Hogan and Kamala. At the time, Kamala punch, kick, and top rope splash. Of course, the Wizard, otherwise known as Curtis Iakea from the Hawaiian area. And then we go to Piper's Pit, and a Piper's Pit is with Butch Reed and Roddy Piper. Of course, Piper not exactly wanting to take a backward step from the wonder that is the hot rod, but Reed kind of gets up in his face. Nothing really comes of that, just kind of a tease. Not one of the better Piper's Pits at the time. Then we go to a music video with the fans of the WWF. Bobby Heenan is confronted soon hereafter, but not before the doctor talks with Gene Okerlund about the need for speech therapy for Ricky the Dragon Steamboat after the crushing of the larynx a few weeks ago. Bobby Heenan does admit that he was at the meeting where Andre the Giant was reinstated, but will not give Jesse Ventura any more information than that. Then we move to a Jake Roberts enhancement match. Roberts has not completed his babyface turn yet, although probably you could see that there is at least some consternation to the idea of such a transaction of events. Jake Roberts defeating Dick Slater via disqualification. 432 when Slater threw referee Danny Davis out of his way while attempting to get at Roberts. Several back and forths with Roberts has Damien in the hands. Slater wins the match. Davis changed his mind and does a reversal and let it continue. Roberts' foot was on the bottom rope during the cover, and the consternation between all of that leads to the chaos that results here. Obviously, Danny Davis not completely kicked out of refereeing action as of yet, but that is soon to come. Roberts gets taken down by Slater with a couple of shots there, use of the snake and other things, and ultimately Bruno Sammartino says he's going to get his hands on Randy Savage. Randy Savage is a piece of slime, and he wants to go to the Boston Garden with Randy Savage and take care of him and perhaps win the Intercontinental Champion. Bruno coming back to main clubs, Providence, Boston, Philadelphia, maybe the Garden once or twice during this 85-86 time frame, in part to keep his son employed in the company. But anyway, we will come back with more right after this.